guys, welcome back to Release the Craftin. Priscilla here with another journal to share with you guys today. So I am so excited to finally be able to show this to you. It is a journal that I am affectionately calling The Collector. And it's huge. And not just like huge, but like huge. So huge that I had trouble fitting it into the frame. In order to film it, I'm going to have to come up quite a bit so you guys get to see the full view of my messy desk. Luckily I have some new video equipment, so that's actually possible. So enjoy the behind the scenes mess. But because this book is so big, there's really no other way to show you all of it, because this is just a portion of it to give you an idea of how much you're missing. But while we're down at this level, let's talk about the cover and the themes in this book. So this was a commission book by a really lovely lady who gave me a lot of ideas to work off of, and then told me that I pretty much had sort of creative freedom in regards to choosing what spoke to me and what to work with. And so I picked out a couple of themes. We also agreed to sort of color match it. That's my cat singing the song of his people. To color match it to the Curiously Witchy kit in my shop. So I used that kit minimally in this book, but also tried to match the aesthetic and sort of overall vibe of that kit. So what I came up with was loud cat toys in the background. Sorry. Was this book. So it's sort of a blend of old witchery meets new witchery. There's sort of a grungy nature, botanical aesthetic to it. There's a little bit of moon stuff in here. Let's get into it, and then you can see, or we can continue listening to my cat doing the most, because I started recording, so of course we have to act out. So for the cover, I have this really great like canvas tapestry style fabric that I got from Shayna, and I used a ton of digitals in this kit because she did want some pre-filled pages of information. So I will put all the digital stuff in the description box below, and then I will try to remember everyone who gifted me stuff, but I will also try not to say their name every single time I see something by them. So yeah, so I have this really great like canvas fabric. The cover is leather, or the spine is leather, learn your terms, and then on the back is this really pretty bird image in the Curiously Witchy kit. Oh my god, this book is so heavy. There is a lot of bird imagery as well, so I wanted to sort of echo that throughout, hence why there's this little tiny bird on the cover. And like I said, the cover, the spine is made out of leather. It's almost 4 inches, like just a hair shy of 4 inches, and then I used these little leaves to like tuck in between the boards to sort of echo back to that sort of naturalistic botanical theme that I was going for. And then, like I said, because this is like a mix of old witchery versus new witchery, it sort of got like a forest witch meets city witch kind of vibe. So there's a lot of industrial elements like barbed wire, there's this metal key, but then we also have sort of this it's actually like a chicken wire chipboard piece thing. I don't know what these are actually called. Wood piece. But I colored it to look like honeycomb, like with some yellow and some browns, and because it has the same hexagonal shape, so I wanted to like sort of evoke that natural element while also bringing in the unnatural bit of chicken wire. And then there's just some ferns and leaves here. These are all embossed pieces that I used those Tim Holtz glazes for, so I stamped on them and then embossed them with those. These little swirls are like that. This I used a crackle glaze on, and I don't know, I could slowly lift it up, even though it's like a workout and a half to pick up. I used some crackle glaze on there and then inked over it in some black, and that like sunk down into the wood of it, and sort of got this really cool like rusted patina look to the barbed wire, which I really like. For the central image here are some dried flowers and leaves with some like mica flakes. These little pieces are mica flakes, and then there's like some gold and silver glass glitter, as long as like these nail art like stones, which I don't know what they're made out of, like little tiny bits of metal. So I'll get real close so you guys can see that, and then I just sort of sealed that all down with some glossy accents. And I really love how this cover came out. It's really fun. Okay, So, from the side, this is sort of hard to show because it is so big. There are just like this delightfully chunky mix of beads, dangles, crystals, metal pieces. We'll get further into that, but I wanted to give you guys a real nice close-up look before I back it out. There isn't too much poking out of the top. I did keep this one pretty clean. But it's a chunky book, you guys. Like, oh my gosh, this book is so heavy, too. So, let's back it up a bit. Let's see how smooth this new equipment operates. Whoa. So there we go. Not too bad. I actually cleaned up a little bit because I knew you guys were coming over, so I wanted that to not be the most disgusting desk in the world like it usually is. So here we go. Alright. A little behind the scenes fun. So yeah. So even then, this book is gigantic. And now you can see the entirety of it. For the closure, I used this, like, recycled bit of belt. It was a belt at some point. I found it at a thrift store when I was in California a few years ago, and I've just been holding on to this piece forever. And then I used one of those little Tim Holtz hooks to close it. And strange transition, but here we are. I'm going to crack this guy open. So you just got to squeeze it and it pops open. So on the closure, I included this little tree charm, a crystal, and this World Tarot card charm as well. And then on the back of this little tree charm, it says, bathe in all the tides of nature, in all her, sorry, I got it closer, in all her streams and oceans and all the seasons, and that's by Thoreau, which I thought was a really nice touch to this book. And I think, like, the metal, sort of industrial-looking tarot card piece with this tree and crystal and metal closure sort of tie in the theme that we're going for here. So, cracking this guy open. Hopefully we're all in here. I think we are. So I kept the inside covers pretty simple because the inside of the book is actually a little bit more complex. I went heavy mixed media with some of the accents in here. So there is a little sort of nameplate here with a little tag that you could tuck some information in on. I used a bunch of different papers. I used the very last of my Botanica Bella, I think it's called. It's a discontinued paper pack from like 5 years ago. I finally used the last of it because I was really excited. This book is 8.5 by 11, so it's a giant book. So I was able to finally use those really big pieces that I always like hold on to because I hate cutting like, you know, half the page to only use half the image. So I was able to get this whole piece in there. Really excited about that. I got all the ruffles from April, so thank you, April. And then the person who ordered this book isn't going to do a lot of writing, but I did leave her some writing space. She is going to add a bunch of pages as well, so I left her a lot of blank pages that she could stick her own personal pages into. And then this book lays totally flat, just want to mention that as well. It is like a semi-soft cover. It's not a super hard cover, so it's really flexible, and I really like how it came out. Here's a piece of that wallflower vellum. I used a lot of stickers instead of stamping here because I have 900 stickers that I should probably start using. So those are in there. So I've got some herbal journaling cards as well as a journaling card from the Curiously Witchy kit. And it just tucks back in here. And I don't remember, every like section has a certain theme. This one is the elements. So I found some really cool printables for that. There's a brush, like Chinese brush painting page. I used some really cool fabrics for the tabs. And then this is like some craft, like packaging paper that I stamped and inked on and used some Lindy's Magicals to get this really cool effect. So I love how that came out. I went through to both sides. There's some like book page, a recipe book page. And then here is the first big pocket. I used those witchy words printables in my shop in here. And then there's a real dried leaf in here. She did say that she wanted a lot of like dried plant elements and stuff like that, so I used that, did some stamping and a bunch of collage work. And then there's like a pocket here for her to tuck stuff into. Like I said, she mentioned she was going to be adding stuff to the book, so she wanted a lot of pockets and things like that. So that's what I incorporated. And then there's another one of those stamps. And I kind of got like the collector vibe because there's like all these preserved flowers, some real, some stickers, throughout the book, as well as leaves and little mushroom bits, as well as like metal pieces, feathers that you can find along the way, sort of stuff like that. So that's why I called this book The Collector. And I love this, like I just did this to extend the page so that it fit the book, but I love like this, like, I don't know what you call it, the juxtaposition between the blank white page and the coffee dyed page with the grungy edge. Totally in love with how that came out. Here's a page for fire, and then this is the other pocket side. And then I used some more of those magicals on these little pockets, stamped up some herbs on them. And then there's just a little burlap tag, which I colored with some cool, like, trims attached to it. This little pine cone here. This cool little paper clip with a real quartz on it. I will try to remember to list all the stones that I used in here, because I used a bunch of different stones and, like, some really cool wood beads. So I want to put that in the description box as well. There's this little envelope for her to tuck stuff into. So it sort of has like a cabinet of curiosities vibe, as well as like that really great witch vibe. I love this mushroom with like all the little leaves and dirts and bits. I love how that came out. That's a cool sticker. And so then here is a tag that I embossed, which you can journal on the back. And that's just stuck on with this paper clip. And then she wanted a lot of flip out pages. And then I dropped my light. Technical difficulties. So this page totally flips out. And that's just sort of held shut with this paper clip. And the other side of that vellum with the last page for water. There's this little dragonfly sticking out, which you can't see because I moved the book way down here. There it is. And then I added some of that trim to this. And then this section is about Sabbats. And so I used a sticker back here. This is an actual, like, pocket. And then there's this little pocket with a preserved ginkgo leaf on it. And a little bit of trim. I did some embossing on that. I did include the last two words that I didn't find a place for in here, so she can stick those down wherever. She asked for a spinning wheel of the year, and I have since delivered. I did like ink this up with I don't know what these are called. Oh, it's a Nouveau pen. It's like a precious metals Nouveau pen thing, and that came out pretty neat. And then I did use more of those Distress Glazes embossing powder thingies around the outside of this, just to give it some more teeth, and then some stickers in the background. And I love how this came out. This is such a fun, like, element, so I'm glad that she asked for that because it was fun to make. So then there's some information on the Sabbats, some book page, some more coffee stain paper. All this coffee stain paper today has been brought to you by the letter M for Mom. My mom dyed this for me, so if she's watching, thank you, Mom. The real MVP. And there is another charm. And on the back of that is one of those, like, Hermelinda style tags made out of that handmade paper with some flowers pressed in. And then I love this. Came out to be a really neat pocket with some more of those herb cards. So some book page and some more blank pages for her to add her stuff into. More Sabbat info, some of that craft paper again. And then I used this cool fold out of the human skeleton from that bone book and added a little, like, recovered piece of doily lace trim for a tab. Some leaf trim. Man, this book travels. It's such a big book, it's so hard to film. Hopefully you guys are getting the best parts. And then there's the other side of that. And then here, I'll pick up the book again so we can see it. I did like a fold out, like, pocket thing, and I used some crackle glaze, some of that distress glaze, did some collaging with rice paper, and built up the front here. He's this really beautiful picture, and then just held together with a little Tim Holtz number tag, which is apparently really hard to get off. And then this flips open, and hopefully we can see it all, or cannot. So there's just a little journaling spot here. This is a belly band, so that will tuck in back there. And then there is a pocket back here with this little skeleton dude and a crystal. And that goes back there. And then theoretically this will go back on easier than it came off. It did. And then another little like bulb pin with a cool green crystal on it. Back into frame. And another journaling card. Little section, some more Sabbat info. And this cool mushroom sticker. Little page. And then another little paper clip with a little key on it. And third signature. Oh, there's 6 signatures in here, by the way. So maybe I should have said up top, this is going to be like a 3 snacker. I'm going to try to keep it from being a 4 snacker, but, you know, we'll see. I'm not in a rush. So here, this section is like about alchemy. That was one of the requested things, so I found this really cool page or printables for it. Another paper clip, and this holds this down. Another one of those collage pieces. You could tuck something back here. It is a little bit tacky, but like, it'll hold something for a while. There's some real feathers on here. And then I used some of those clipping stickers. And then something can be tucked in here. And then some journaling can be done there. I'm just holding that down with this paper clip. Oh, and I keep forgetting because there are so many. Oh, heavy look. But another page from that kit, or that printable, is right here on the inside of this folded piece. Oh, forgot what I was even using this for. There we go. And then another really pretty sticker. And trim. Book page. Some more blank pages for her to put stuff down on. Some more info about alchemy. Another one of those large sheets. And this can be journaled on. It's actually pretty sturdy because I messed this stuff up. Like, I crunched it all up and did all sorts of things to get it to look like this. So it'll actually take to writing really well. There is a little, like, tuck spot made out of one of those other little tiny pockets with another dyed burlap tag in there. And then on the inside here is the first of 3 of these little books. I made these little books using the Curiously Witchy papers. And I'm only going to open up one so you guys can see it, but the rest you'll have to use your imaginations because this is only 3 snacks worth. So there is like a preserved leaf on the front here. And then I did some more collaging. And then there's some of that witchery, like words, some Tim Holtz things, and then some cutouts from the paper pack. And I inked up the inside. I just made really simple little books that she could take out and do some writing, take them with her. Like out into the field. And then stick them back in here for safekeeping. And then, you know, if she wants, she can take all 3 books out because they do chunk up the book quite a bit. But I really love how they came out. I think they're really neat. So that is that. Oh, and I did collage on the back as well. Let's go to town with some magicals, just to make it extra sparkly. Alright, so there's some stickers there, some more of this really cool, like, netted trim. And then there is a little bird charm. This is like a real brass charm. And then some coral and some more stones. And then in here is another pocket with some more of these journaling cards. And then this is like a big, one more card, like table of symbols, like a periodic table sort of. And then on the back are like astrological symbols and stuff like that. So I just made that into like a pull-out reference sheet. It might actually work as a writing board. It is fairly sturdy. I don't know if I would use it as that, but it could come in handy for that. And then here's a little potion bag, which I use more of that crackle glaze on. I'm going to cut out this potion bottle, some more feathers. I had to sneeze. And then inside there are a couple of little potions. So some recipes she can take with her. This is a cool page on an elephant seal. Just cute. Cuter. And then, there's another sticker. Like I said, she's going to be adding stuff in here, so I didn't want to, like, choke up all the pages with stuff. But I did want to add some cool things, and I'm happy with how it came out. Really enjoying the elements. This is a page on astrology. So on the back is a large tag using some digits from April. It says astrology on it. And it's got one of those birds on there that she can journal on the back of. So for the insert, I have this, like, standalone insert. It says Stay Curious on it, and I used some really great, like, textiles that I got from Kim and April. And then there is another preserved leaf on here, and then a little wax seal with a flower underneath it. And I'm real stoked. It's got, like, a whole apothecary cabinet back here. This paper is really cool, and it was really hard for me to give up. But when I measured it out and saw that all the drawers fit, like, the page size perfectly, I was like, well, now you have to use it. So that's just tied together here. And then this opens up. And on the inside is another little book. So you can see the little cover for that. Some little preserved flowers going on. And then there's a little recipe card with another one of those herb cards. I did some embossing on the back of this page with these, like, bugs crawling around. Love that. And then here is a tag that I decorated to be a tuck spot, and use this, like, bottle sticker to stick another, like, leaf under, and, like, it says spirits on the sticker, and I just love that this little, like, leaf could be like a little plant spirit. I think that's really neat. So this tucks back in there. And then I'll hold this off to the end. There's another pocket on this side with a little quote here. So it's got another recipe. And then it has two little tuck spots that hold some more of those journaling cards. And they're little tags with real little leaves. It says recipes and incense and oils. And then here in the middle, I didn't make a tag for this because I was lazy, I guess. I just forgot. I'll put a tag in there before I send it out. But it is like a little pocket. So there's a big pocket here and a big pocket here that something can go into. And then here, you guys might have seen this on my Instagram, is actually a sliding pocket. So this opens up, and it's like a self-adhesive book that, like, continuously, like, adheres to itself. So that's kind of neat. Like, it never has lost its stickiness, and I've been opening it and closing it quite a few times out of, like, the fear that it would never open again. But yeah, this slides back and forth, and then the back of it is actually backed, so something like secret could be written on the back here. And then just sort of tucked away there. So, sliding pocket. Neat. I'm going to make a tag for this, I promise. So I will tie that up later. So, this is the fourth signature, and this is a large bag that, like, a bunch of stuff can get tucked into. Did the same sort of collage work. I used some rub-ons, so like dried flower rub-ons, and there's a leaf here. This little envelope actually functions, so it can be opened up and something can be tucked inside. And then there's a feather here with another one of those cool, like, aura quartz crystals in that green color that I really like. And then, what's this one about? This one's about divination. Of course it is. And there's a little mushroom sticker I stuck back here. I really like how it looks on top of the music paper. And this one has a lot of space to add some stuff to. Large leaf sticker here. On the inside here is some moon phases. And then this is a giant, like, folded up piece of paper. A little book page tucked inside. So some more writing can be done there. And some more stuff can be saved here. And then there's this really cool fortune teller paper that I've been saving from one of those Halloween recollection pads that I haven't been able to use like the entire image of. So again, really happy to make a book this large because I could use a full-size page like that. So there's a little bit about runes and tasseomancy. There is another journaling card in here, as well as a little circle tag with some feathers and another little wax seal on here. Oh, and I did this. This was like a tester piece where I tested out those embossing glazes to see how they were. And I really kind of like how it looks like stamped, but then like glossy. So that was a cool effect, and I was happy to test that out and then convert it into a usable tag. Some more stickers. And then here is another one of those little pockets held down with another paper clip. So love this. This is the real leaf. I really like that. And then in here, I tucked in some of those cards. Another little doily tab. So lots of chunky goodness. Little dragonfly dude hanging out up here. And then here is a page on fingers and rings and their planetary associations, which was a really cool digital. And I was really excited to add it in here. I added some rub-ons just to sort of tie it in. And it folds out to be the whole, like, 3 pages. So it's like a little mini booklet in there. And then there is a cool little bulb pin charm here. And some more of that book page with a horse. And then here is another collage with a real feather and a real leaf behind it. And then this flips open. Ooh, heavy book. Pick up. There we go. So this flips open. There is a belly band tuck spot right here. And then it folds out for some writing space there. And then behind here is a pocket with a tag, a little collage tag. And then this is also a pocket. I can't get my finger in. A pocket in which something small could be tucked in as well. And then we struggle. There we go. Alright. So this one is the start of the moon. The moon, like, info is the last 2 signatures because she did want something sort of lunary, moon-based. But I ended up leaning way more into the grungy botanical side. But I did want to include, like, a big chunk of moon stuff, so that's what we got here. I really love this blue, like, pressed flower sticker. Really pretty up against, like, all this dark grunginess stuff. Love this page. It's hard to let go of paper that you love. This says free to fly, sort of calling back to the birds and the bats. And then there is another digi. This is actually a pocket page. So behind here is another recipe card. And then a rituals tag. I don't know who's to blame, like my brain or my mouth. Like one of these people are not cooperating. And I realize that they're not people, but that's what I'm going with. Words are hard. So here's a piece of craft paper. I accidentally, like, messed up this paper. But I was able to, like, salvage it and make it a full page by adding this little bit of, like, craft cardstock to it. And I really love how that came out. It's got, like, a little lunar calendar moon phase thing to it. And then I tucked a little leaf, like, behind that. So it looks like it's kind of coming out in between the 2 pages. So I love how that came out. Some book page. And there's another paper clip. This one with a, like, uncooperative but or type quartz. And that flips over. And then there is a pocket here with a little double, like, tag. Hermelinda tag. I remember the words. I love this paper. And then the last little book. So I love how this came out. I love, like, the piecemeal look. And, like, how everything looks like it's sort of been patched together. And using, like, what she found. So this collector, nameless though she may be, is a really fascinating witch to me. So there's 2 little envelopes here to tuck stuff into. And I just kept those little simple, used some cutouts from the paper pad, added some stickers and collaged the background, and then used some of that Primo wax to get them all nice and shiny. So some more mushrooms, coffee stain paper. You could tell my mom had lots of fun. She got carried away, and I'm glad because it meant I didn't have to dye the paper. Another sticker on the back of that brush lettering paper, and then another little one of those like herb pockets with the last little burlap tag, and this really fun like chunky wool trim. And then I dropped the paper clip. The struggle. There we go. So, little skull paper clip, a little leaf, and then on this tab is another little bulb pin charm. And then here, we've got this really pretty image that I used some gold embossing powder on, as well as that distress embossing glaze. I don't know why that set of words is so hard for me to get. There's a little tab up top and a little thing on the bottom, and I pull that out, and it's a little double pocket tab card that doesn't slide back in as easily as I would like, but comes out pretty nice. So it takes 2 hands to close, but technically 1 hand to open. Although I'm showing you using both hands because why? But I really love how that came out, and I think it's a really fun little element. And then she can stick like little pictures back there or something, or like add a little piece of coffee dye paper to it and then journal on there. I don't know. It's her book. She can do what she wants. But I thought it was a fun little interactive element to tap in there. Here's some book page. Another one of these, like, I don't know what kind of flower this is, but it looks all dried up and crunchy. But I love that sticker. A little dried rose. And then this is the start of like a full moon ritual, using all that moon stuff we already learned about. So that is spread out through the rest of this book. Love how these ruffles came out. And then there's a little tuck spot here with some more of those tabs. Beautiful paper, which I'm so sad to give up, but I really am happy that I was finally able to use it in mostly full size. And then on the back is another paper clip with another one of those envelopes and another journaling card from the Curiously Witchy kit. And then there is another large flip out page of coffee stain paper. And then on the back here, sorry, I ran out of space, is just a little flip out like journaling spot. And I stamped down this little bug and then painted it up with some like shimmery watercolor, and then put one of those jar stickers over the top. So this little beetle bug has like the key to youth, and I really love that. Just another thing she has collected. There we go. There is some moon phases back here. And then, oh, I lied. This is the last little tiny herb tag. It is a tuck spot. Herb pocket, I'm sorry, with the last burlap tag. There's a little tiny shimmery tag, and the last, quote-unquote, maybe, possibly, I don't know, don't quote me, of those drilling cards. Another beautiful paper from the pack, and the end of that moon ritual, with the very last little bulb pin charm, and then I just added this little dried flower sticker to the back because I had it left over and I didn't want to put it back in the package. And I like how it looks back there. And of course there's little bits of fibery stuff everywhere. There we go. OCD has been satisfied. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this book as much as I enjoyed making it. I'm really excited to send it off to its new home. It was really fun to make and just a fun experiment in making books this size. And I kind of love that I've been getting some really interesting, like, commission orders, and you guys have come up with some really fun, like, witchy things to tackle. So this was a fun one, and I'm looking forward to the next one. And, yeah, I think that's it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And I will catch you guys all in the next one. Finish up on a pretty shot. And, Yeah, thanks for watching. I appreciate your faces. And until next time, bye!